Good morning, everybody. I apologize. I can't see you to the lights, but it looks like I've got everyone's attention. Thank you for your attention this morning. Good morning and welcome. My name is Michael Brown. I'm the chair of the MERS board. On behalf of the board and staff, glad that you could join us for the annual conference this year. It is MERS 72nd annual conference. For those that came in last night and enjoyed the tapas and topics reception, hope you had an opportunity to talk with your peers and discuss some of the hot topics that are currently affecting the retirement industry. For those that follow any of the news or other outlets, there certainly is a lot of discussion right now in the industry about retirement. I had some wonderful conversations and overheard many others sharing insightful dialogue. If you happen to be here and shared some of those conversations, I encourage you throughout the conference to talk with others and share some of the conversations that you had. As you may have noticed, this is a busy time for Grand Rapids. Art Prize is in full swing with exhibits on display all over the city, including right here in the hotel. We've included time in the schedule this afternoon to allow you to explore and view some of the amazing Art Prize pieces. And I will emphasize amazing. I'm a finance person. For those of you that are finance folks and accounting folks, you'll understand maybe where I come from, that I greatly appreciate and I'm in awe of the art. I can draw the straightest lines you'll ever see. Beyond that, it goes downhill. So certainly go take a look and vote as well. There's opportunity to vote for those pieces that you really are excited about. To help guide you throughout the city, the Grand Rapids Convention and Visitors Bureau, is on site with maps and advice to assist you. I believe that they're out in the lobby area along with MERS staff and will assist you. This morning, we need to hold the annual business meeting. We'll be asking you to elect both an officer member and an employee member to serve on the retirement board for a 3-year term beginning in 2019. After that, our CEO, Chris DeRose, will provide a preview of what's to come and how to get the most out of the conference. And then we will continue the day with breakout sessions. But before we get to that, if you're able, will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. As I indicated, my name is Michael Brown. I currently chair the MERS Retirement Board. I've served as an officer member since November of 2007, and I am the county administrator for Barry County, a position I've held since 1995. They indicate that I'm a member of MERS for 23 years now, and proud to say that. I'd like to introduce the fellow retirement board members. First is Dale Felposh. Dale is Vice President and Chief Financial Officer of the Capital Region Airport Authority. Randy Gerard. Randy is the Township Manager for Marquette Charter Township. He is also an officer member. An employee member, Ms. Amy DeFord. Amy is the Retirement Administrator for Saginaw County. Employee member, Jason Serrata. Jason is a firefighter and paramedic for Delta Township. Employee member, Tina Butler. Tina is the Enforcement Supervisor for Cass County. We have 2 appointed professional members, Jim Wiersma. Jim is the president of Family Investment and Resource Management in Holland. And then Michael Gilmore. Michael is the director of investment services for Delta Dental. And then we have a retiree member, Mr. John Ogden. John is the retired finance director for the city of Port Huron. If you'd maybe take just a moment to thank the board members. Also present in our monthly meetings and seated along with the board is Mr. Chris DeRose, our Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Pam Steffi, the board secretary, Jeb Burns, Chief Investment Officer, Carrie Lombardo, Chief Strategic and External Affairs Officer, Denise Bouquet, Chief Operating Officer, and Mr. Leon Hank, Chief Financial Officer. You'd also take a minute to thank them as well. Now, we do need to conduct an annual meeting this morning, and as the chair of the MERS Retirement Board, I would call the 72nd annual business meeting of the Municipal Employees Retirement System to order. Located in your conference booklet on page 17, I believe, and then also on the conference app, are a copy of the minutes from the 2017 annual business meeting. Excuse me. Shortly, I will ask for a motion to approve the minutes. If someone would stand and using the microphones located, I think are there two of, yes, in the aisles, stand, state your name for the record, and make a motion to approve, and then someone would also do that to second, I would appreciate it. So at this time, if a delegate would like to make a motion to approve the 2017 annual business meeting minutes of the Municipal Employees Retirement System. Looks like we have somebody. Thank you.
My name is Joe Grover. I work for Washtenaw County. I make a motion to approve the minutes of last year's meeting.
You've got the name. It was Joe. Joe, what's your?
C-R-O-V-A.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure our microphone is working there. So we do have a motion to approve the minutes from the 2017 annual meeting.
Ed Brown, City of Davison, I'll second that.
Ed Brown. Thank you, Ed. We have a second. We do have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion regarding the minutes? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great. That motion carries. Is there any old business that a certified delegate would like to bring before the members? All right. Is there any new business that a certified delegate would like to bring before the members? Hearing none, then I'd like to call John Ogden to the stage to explain the board nomination and election process. While John comes up, candidate profiles are located in the business meeting section of the conference booklet, which are pages 18 through 21, I believe, as well as the candidate profiles section of the conference app. Thanks, John.
Good morning. Each year at the annual MERS business meeting, an election is held to elect individual members to serve on the MERS Retirement Board. The MERS plan document requires that the system hold an annual meeting to elect the retirement board members and to conduct other business. So we're really here for the election. The other stuff is other stuff. Now is the time for this year's election. As Michael stated, the election will be for two positions, one officer board member, one employee board member. Each person will serve a 3-year term. Voting is open to all employee and employer delegates. Take a look at your badge and you will have a red dot if you are eligible to vote. Each voting delegate can vote for all open board positions. So for this year, each delegate can vote for 1 officer position and 1 employee position. Before we start, let me give a brief overview of the election process. Candidates can declare themselves prior to an established deadline before the annual meeting, but there can also be nominations from the floor. Once nominations are closed, each candidate will have the opportunity to introduce themselves to the membership. Voting will take place after all candidates have had the chance to speak to you. As previously stated, only delegates can vote, but whether you are an employee or an employer delegate, you can vote for both offices. MERS staff will assist in distributing and collecting the ballots, and we have volunteer tellers who will count the ballots in a separate room. Those volunteer tellers are David Sabuda from SMART, Craig Longnecker from Clinton County, Emily Green from Grand Haven, Beth Lewis from Muskegon, and Tina Tregembo from Marquette. So now is the time to open nominations for the employer board member. We have 2 declared candidates, Thomas George from Montcalm County, from the Montcalm County Sheriff's Office, Jason Serrata from Delta Township. Are there any nominees from the floor? And since I can't see, you'll have to, let's assume there are none. Can I have a motion to close the nominations? And if someone could please step to the mic to make and second the motion.
Brenda Gorder, Midland County Road Commission. I make a nomination that the nominations be closed.
Thank you. And do we have a second, please?
Barb Dinan, Plymouth Library. I second the motion.
Thank you very much. It's also time to open the nominations for the employer board member. Again, we have 2 declared candidates, Dale Feldposh from the Capital Region Airport Authority and Kathleen Lomaco from the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments. Are there any nominees from the floor? Okay, assuming I see that there are none, could we please have a motion to close the nominations? And again, if someone could please step to the mic.
Hi, Karen Fail from Northville Library. I make a motion that we close the nominations.
Thank you.
It's
And
FEHL.
is there a second, please?
Lynn Holloway, Allegan County. I second that motion.
Thank you very much. So now we're going to allow the candidates time to address the membership. First, the employee candidates, Thomas George.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for offering me the opportunity to present in front of you. You will quickly learn that public speaking isn't my forte, and especially in this large of a crowd, but I will do my best to not talk too quickly, and I'll keep it short. As introduced, I am with the Montcalm County Sheriff's Office. My position title is a lieutenant. I oversee our road patrol, and I've been employed for almost 29 years with them. Although the number of years and the color of my hair would suggest I should be retired by now, I still have a few years to go. Kind of some of the experience that I'm bringing with me is I serve on several boards within my organization. We have an operational board that oversees our central dispatch that I'm a member of. We have another group called a local planning team. Several disciplines come together to take funds that we are able to receive from federal grants and distribute them throughout the county for various projects that are proposed. Another board I sat on was our local retirement board. Montcalm County, up until the last couple of years, had their own retirement system, and I was an employee representative on that board. Also, when we switched, I had the opportunity to work with and meet numerous people with MERS, had very pleasant experiences with the group that I worked with. Our questions were always answered timely, and it was just a pleasant experience. What kind of motivates me to some extent to join this board is I, along with the rest of you, understand the value of a solid, secure pension system. And I had told the story a couple times last night. Montcalm County, if you know anything about us at all, in the last few years, we've had a horrible financial crisis, and much of our road patrol was eliminated. We now have the reputation of laying people off and not having many workers, and it's hard to attract and retain good employees right now. We did have an opportunity recently to hire a group. One young man, our top pick, after he saw what we had to offer and what the type of work we're kind of confined to, he decided it wasn't for him. Went to the number 2 guy, and he's very motivated to work for us. We have offered him an employment position, and he's starting next week. One of the things interesting about this young man is during the interview process, he asked us, what do we have for retirement? And we told him that our road patrol still has a defined benefit pension. His eyes lit up. Someone has educated this young man the value of that system and the value of that pension. So it's my wish to be elected to the board of MERS to help continue to move MERS forward, to provide this valuable pension system not only for the employees, for all of us, because let's face it, this is what we're going to live on when we retire, but also for the employers as well, to help attract and retain qualified people. Public service, I think we sometimes get held to a little bit higher standard of the people that we hire to serve those in our communities, and this is one way to help attract and retain those qualified people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom. Now we'll hear from Jason Serrata.
Good morning. As John said, I'm Jason Serrata. For the last 16 years, I've served the community of Delta Township as a firefighter and paramedic. In addition, I worked as an investment professional for a local financial planning firm. And for the last 2+ years, I've had the privilege to serve you as a MERS board member. I'd like to touch on my term as board member and discuss my experience and roles thus far. Last year, I completed my bachelor's degree in business administration and finance. Also, I've attended the Wharton School executive education programs specific to institutional investing and the governance of public plans and pensions. The first 2 years as a board member, I was selected to sit on the investment committee. This allowed me to observe on a deeper level how our assets are being invested and managed. I was able to see the due diligence and attention the MERS investment team gives to our assets, and I think they do a tremendous job for us. Currently, I sit on the Leadership and Development Committee. This committee focuses on the structure of succession planning, along with preparing and equipping leaders within the organization. In my first term as board member, I'm serving as your vice chair. I'm prepared and ready to perform the duties of chairman if necessary. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I care about MERS. I care about the success of every plan and participant here. I believe MERS is headed in the right direction, and I'm grateful for being in a position to provide input and accountability. My experience in the financial planning industry and education specific to public plans and pensions make me a prepared and qualified board member. And with your vote, I'd be honored to continue serving as a MERS board member. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. And now we'll hear from the employer candidates First, Dale Feldposh.
Thanks, John. Wow, that's loud. You have to excuse my voice. I got a little bit of a cold, so I know I sound a little bit like Johnny Cash to you old people out there, but I can't sing like him. As it was stated, I work for the Capital Region Airport Authority. That's the airport in Lansing. Clarified that for Michael a couple of times last evening and this morning. My wife and I are both CPAs. We've been CPAs for about 30 plus years. So along with that comes the education and the continuing education that we have to get every year. And together we had 2 children. We have 2 adult children. One is a missionary and the other is a professional ballerina. So as you can tell, the accounting talk that we had around the kitchen table when they were kids was totally ignored. It's not like I didn't try. I did what you guys all did. I got them on their laps, on my lap as when they were really small, and I read the classics to them, you know, Journal of Accountancy, Airport Finance 101, and How to Make Accounting Cool Again. So all I got out of that was messy pants. So them, not me, okay? So while my career choice depresses my daughter and bores my son, I've rather enjoyed it. The technical, the problem solving is something that's always been of interest to me. But I've also enabled me to work, because when you work with budget, you work with everybody, and that's what I really enjoyed. At the airport especially, I've gotten to work with a variety of professionals and experts in their field, and they've taught me a lot. Airport operations, public safety, airport operations, they take care of the airfield. Along with attorneys, actuaries, engineers, and of course, accounting and finance. The only ones I didn't care for are engineers, because they don't know how to keep a budget no matter what. So anyway, but getting to work closely with these people has taught me to always look at the business situations that I come across from different views and appreciate everyone's different views on whatever situation we're dealing with. MERS is a great example. Everyone is really interesting. We come from different areas of expertise, and everyone likes what they do. Most people like what they do, but we're all in agreement we don't want to do it till the day we end up in a grave, right? So that's where we all are pretty similar in that regard. It's also helped me make some good friends along the way, and I want to talk real shortly about something that brought everything home to me on a personal level on what I do for MERS and what I do for the airport. This last year, it was a difficult year at the airport. We lost 2 of our members, an employee and a retiree, and their wives in 2 separate vehicle accidents. And it was very, very challenging, and I got a phone call because the maintenance was a very good friend of mine. And I got the call to ask if I would come out and help. And so, of course, I took that challenge on. I got to tell you, our human resources manager was just amazing. She stepped up and she got me prepared for what I needed to go out there. But MERS was also there. The MERS staff was amazing. Everything was just right in line, and while I wasn't prepared emotionally for what I walked into that house, I was prepared professionally, and I wanted to thank Chris and his staff for that. It meant a lot to me, and meant a lot to the family. And at the end of it, the daughter looks at me, and she's across the table, and she says, "Dale, do you have to go to everyone's house that dies at the airport?" My first thought was, well, not that many people die at the airport. Okay, so you can all feel safe. And I said, no, Haley, I don't have to do this for everybody. She says, oh, thank God. She said, I was sitting here thinking, boy, your job sucks. I said, that's what my kids say. So anyway, on a typical day, what I do how I touch MERS and how MERS touches us is I work real closely with the CEO and our unions to make certain that the MERS products that we have are sustainable. It's very important to us to make certain that these benefits that we employees at the airport have earned are there for us when we need them, and that's way down the road. So I'm more futuristic, future-looking, making sure it's funded right, making sure it's structured properly, and that's my goal for that, and it's also my goal for MERS. So I just want to thank you for voting for me 3 years ago to serve on this board, and I want you to know I take it seriously. I work hard at it. And I think I did some good stuff in the last 3 years. So I humbly ask you again today to vote for me, that I might serve you for another 3 years, that I might contribute my financial expertise to the problems and the challenges that come to this board. They're pretty technical. That's why I enjoy the board, is some technical stuff. And it's both from a legal and a finance, so I like both of that, and that works out very well for me, feeds into my interests. But I want to make sure that you know that I'm on this board to ensure that the valuable benefits that you and I have earned are continued to be offered and to continue to be paid to both you and I. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dale. Kathleen Lamaco could not attend this year's conference, but speaking for Kathleen will be Scott Fela. Scott.
Good morning. As John said, my name is Scott Fela. I'm the Human Resources Specialist at the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments. I'm not Kathleen Lamaco. She's prepared some notes that I'd like to read to you at this time. I send regrets for being unable to attend the MERS conference and election today. This morning, I'm hosting the 12th Annual Shining Light Regional Cooperation Awards breakfast in Dearborn. While I'm not able to be at the meeting, this memo serves as my commitment to be an active member of the MERS board if elected. I serve as the Executive Director of SEMCOG, the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments. SEMCOG is an association of local governments, counties, cities, villages, townships, intermediate school districts, and community colleges in the 7 counties of Metro Detroit. Through my work with the 175 local governments, I have a sound understanding of local government and an appreciation of the need for good staff. Like you, I know that MERS benefits and services are important to recruiting and retaining the staff necessary to deliver quality services. Prior to being Executive Director, I served as Deputy Executive Director and Administrative Director of SEMCOG. I will bring to the MERS Board my experience managing the finances of SEMCOG and ensuring that our MERS benefit program was funded as part of the total staff compensation package. A key component of our work at SEMCOG is long-range regional planning. We are currently working on our plan through the year 2045. Like MERS, our work requires that we take the long view as we plan for a successful future. I welcome the opportunity to assist in governing MERS to responsibly manage the retirement benefits and services for both current and future retirees. Our work at SEMCOG also involves working with local governments to increase efficiency, effectiveness, and strategic investment. Our goal is for local government to deliver quality services and demonstrate to taxpayers that we are a good steward of resources. This is as true for MERS. My work at SEMCOG also includes working with state legislatures and other policymakers to address issues important to Southeast Michigan. These include the funding challenges experienced by local governments as a result of our funding structure. I would be pleased to also share the importance of MERS in delivering quality employee benefits in a fiscally sustainable manner. Finally, our work at SEMCOG involves educating the public on how they can contribute to Southeast Michigan's future success. In a similar way, I look forward to working with the MERS team to assist in looking for ways we can work with and educate MERS members to help them prepare for enjoyable and successful retirements. In closing, I'm confident that my experience will benefit and enhance the MERS board. I respectfully ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott, for speaking for Kathleen. So now it is time to vote. Please again look at your name badge to see if you have the red dot that indicates you're either an employer or an employee delegate, and raise your hand while the MERS staff distributes the ballots. So now that you have your ballots, please complete them. And once you've completed them, the MERS staff will go through the reverse process of collecting all those ballots. And for those of you who have volunteered to be tellers, if you could meet at the back of the room near the camera person, we will then take the ballots to go into another room to count them. So once you've completed your ballot, again, please hold it up for collection. So as the last few ballots are being collected and then delivered to the tellers in the back of the room, it is time for me to ask MERS CEO Chris DeRose to please come forward to present the State of MERS report. Chris?
Well, good morning. Welcome to the MERS Annual Conference. We are excited to be back in the city of Grand Rapids, and we're especially so because Art Prize is going on all around us. In the next few minutes, I want to help you get the very most out of this conference. First, I want to set the stage. Then I quickly want to discuss how you can use the conference app to navigate and to have some fun. After that, for those of you who are new, I want to remind you of the things that MERS provides to you as a member. Then I want to hit a couple of new things that we've just introduced that people are really interested in: the MERS IRA and the Retiree Healthcare Exchange. Throughout my remarks, I hope to connect you to the sessions that we will have in the next day and a half. Some of you might find it useful to take out your phone and open up the app. That way you can put the most important sessions for you on your personal schedule. I hope that with this we can create a plan that will allow you to get the most out of this conference. So a fun fact. The city seal was created by the city clerk of Grand Rapids in 1950 and depicts a hand reaching down from the clouds holding the scales of justice. The motto at the bottom means strength in activity. A very fitting phrase to kick off our conference, the act of coming together to learn more about the topics and challenges you face every day, and as we are right now, to vote for our retirement board. This brings strength to our entire system. Over the next 2 days, you'll hear from MERS staff, industry experts on topics including unfunded liability, health care, and financial wellness. Based on feedback from previous year's attendees, we created a new attendee video to give you tips on getting the most out of your time here, and I hope that some of you found that helpful. Well, for those of you that haven't had the opportunity, take a look at the conference app. The app not only gives access to the conference schedule and speaker bios, but also has session presentations and the full attendee list to encourage networking. Once again, we'll be doing the Click Challenge, an interactive game within the MERS conference app that encourages you to network, interact, and share your experiences throughout the event. Again, bringing strength in activity. This conference is for you, and we want you to get the most out of it. So please take the opportunity to meet the MERS staff and board members and network with your peers at events such as the reception tonight at the Bob. I am very proud of our team. You will know us by the green staff sticker on the bottom of our badges. Please reach out and ask us questions. If we don't know the answer, we will connect you with someone who does. You need to remember, too, that you have a 4-person regional team. They're here to assist you. If you've not met them yet, connect with one of us. We'll make sure you get the introduction. As many of you are aware, Art Prize is underway in Grand Rapids. There are over 1,500 pieces of artwork placed in 160 venues around the city. On your short walk over to the Bob this evening, I highly encourage you to take in some of these incredible displays. In fact, one of our staff's husbands has entered in this year's competition, and this rooster is Chuck, and the exhibit is called Meet Chuck. The 7-foot chicken sculpture, which is completely constructed out of salvaged steel, is on display at the Grand Rapids Downtown Market. So I would encourage you to go check it out. At MERS, we do things a little differently. For starters, we are an independent retirement services company that was created to administer the retirement plans of Michigan's local units of government on a not-for-profit basis. Each plan is designed by you at the local level, and it's funded by employer and employee contributions along with investment returns. Retiree benefits are funded over the length of an employee's career, which means that members can count on their benefits when they're ready to retire. But what exactly do we do at MERS? Simply put, our job is to ensure that you have what you need financially in retirement. We do this by creating a team of people who truly care about Michigan, who care about public service, and who care about you. One of the primary reasons local units of government choose MERS is because we take on the sole fiduciary responsibility for the plans. This means you're not in it alone. You're not on your own. MERS is governed by an independent, elected board that operates without compensation. The board is committed to accountability and transparency, holding the line on administrative costs, and watching out for the best interests of our members. Our 9-member board consists of the following types of members. We have 3 officers. Think of them as people that supervise others, management at your municipality. We have 3 employee members, 2 appointed members from the investment community, and 1 retiree member. They spend hours wrestling with complex and impactful matters, and we are grateful for your work. In addition, our in-house legal staff actively monitors state and federal laws, ensuring that our plans are in compliance. So in a nutshell, we do the things that most municipals find hard to do in this space. If you're interested in our best practices as your retirement plan fiduciary, I suggest that you attend the Comprehensive View of Plan Governance breakout session, which will happen at 9:45, 11, and today, so 9:45 and 11 today, and 9:45 tomorrow. If you have the app in front of you, you can tap on the schedule, and then at the bottom, you can choose My Schedule, and then touch on that little plus sign, and that'll become a check mark, and it will be added to your schedule. So we've been administering retirement plans for the last 70 years. We've learned a little bit about them over time. We've gone from receiving paper payroll files to now providing you with an online mechanism to report information to us. When MERS started back in 1945, we had 14 plans. We are now managing over 3,000. We process many different kinds of transactions. For example, in 2017, we handled over 5,000 benefit estimates, 28,000 health care savings program claims, 29,000 participant calls, 384 plan design changes, and over 2,000 retirement applications. We also employ an on-site auditor who reports directly to the board. This provides you with a secure system of checks and balances. So managing all this data is key to providing you with sound funding policies as we use the data to make assumptions about future events. In a nutshell, that's what actuarial services is all about. Each year, we provide you with a 6-year budget projection in your annual actuarial valuation. Even if you are not the CFO or the HR director at your municipality, you would benefit from reviewing this report. It shows how much the benefits cost and how well funded they are. In addition, inside that report, we provide what-if scenarios that show contributions and funding levels at various market volatility scenarios. So we're here to partner with you, helping you achieve your fiscal goals by reviewing your options to find the programs and provisions that best meet your group's unique needs. In fact, our regional teams meet one-on-one with each customer to review their plans in depth once a year. We sit with you and help you make the decisions to keep your plans sustainable and affordable. As you are most likely aware, reporting for PA 202 and PA 530 is underway. And for those of you that are within the waiver process or the corrective action plan process for PA 202, or if you are currently preparing your PA 530 reporting, we have the resources available to assist you, including timelines and guides. They're all on our website. To ensure we're using sound actuarial assumptions, we conduct an experience study every 5 years. This is where we check our assumptions against the real world data and our actual experience. A key part of providing a secure retirement is developing a retirement plan that meets the unique needs and goals of our customers. Even the best plans need to be checked regularly to ensure that they continue to work in our dynamic landscape. The next experience study will be conducted for the period 2014 through 2018, so through the end of this year. We're going to review the economic assumptions, which are the investment return assumption, the wage inflation assumption, what are the raises going to be going forward, and price inflation. The review of the economic assumptions has already begun with our consulting actuarial firm, Gaber Roeder Smith. There will most likely be changes to the economic assumptions, and since the investment return assumption has a major effect on the required contributions and actuarial funding, we are informing our customers of this study so that they, you, have as much time as possible to adapt. We are working on the economic assumptions now, and next summer we will work on the demographic assumptions. Think how long people live, when they retire, for instance. We're working to give you plenty of notice to plan for the increases. I urge you to take a look at your most recent valuation and see if you can afford the increases where the table shows that the investment return assumption is lower. So you find the table where we show various investment return assumptions, and there are 6 years of projections of what those costs are. That can help you start to plan for the future. If this causes you concern, in other words, if the costs of the benefits that you have cause you concern, reach out to our regional team or to me, and we'll help you. As an additional best practice, MERS has a second independent actuarial firm conduct an actuarial review or audit of the recommended assumption changes. This gives MERS a second opinion on the appropriateness of the assumptions used going forward. So for more information on how defined benefit plans work and the experience study, I suggest you join our chief actuary from GRS and the members of our MERS team in the session Taking a Look Under the Hood of Your Defined Benefit Plan for strategies on managing liabilities. So if you're concerned about the liabilities you have and what are the things you can do to lower those or manage those, I would encourage you to attend the Comprehensive View of Plan Governance session. Both of these sessions are at 9:45 and 11 today and 9:45 tomorrow. A primary goal of ours is growing the assets at a rate of increase, which coupled with employer and employee contributions provides for the retirement benefits for our members. In 2017, our $11.4 billion portfolio added 13.4% in investment income while paying out just under $1 billion in retirement payments. You all know that retirement plans operate over a long-term horizon. Thus, we focus on long-term rates of return rather than any year or single quarter. Our 35-year rate of return is 9.26%, which is above the long-term target of MERS assumed actuarial investment return of 7.75. History shows us that the market performance will fluctuate one year to the next. Specifically, in this year, 2018, market performance has experienced more volatility than we had seen in the past 2 years due to a variety of macroeconomic factors. This is where a highly diversified portfolio plays a key role as a strategy to MERS asset allocation and investment philosophy and strategy. While it is impossible to foresee all market risks, a goal of the portfolio is to provide protection in down markets, as we still have to be able to make pension payments, while participating in up markets. Join MERS Chief Investment Officer tomorrow morning at 8:30 for an update on the state of the MERS investment portfolio. And following the update, members of the MERS Investment Committee and investment staff will discuss best practices when it comes to managing and monitoring the MERS investment portfolios. You'll learn about our investment policy statements, which guide the team in making decisions, as well as best practices when it comes to choosing investment managers. The session will focus on both defined benefit and defined contribution, or participant directed, as they're sometimes called, portfolios, and will help you better understand MERS investments, how they operate, and the safeguards that are in place to protect the assets during times of market volatility. If you are a participant and more specifically interested in your own situation and being ready for retirement, I'd suggest that you attend our investment series sessions. They're in 2 parts. The first part is at 11 and 1:30 today, and the second part is 9:45 and 2:45. I'm sorry, the second is 2:45 this afternoon and 9:45 tomorrow morning. They will talk you through the basics of investments and managing your portfolio. So speaking of how we can help you as an individual, we also provide education and financial planning resources. We believe that this is a critical component to what you do. And we know that you know this as well. In fact, based on our most recent survey, 86% of you said that participant education is important to you. Our certified financial education instructors have met with over 4,000 participants, taken 29,000 calls, reached 10,000 people through webinars and Facebook Live events, launched a sensibility blog that has been seen over 4,000 times, and we have all 400 or more of you here today at our annual conference, all interested in these topics. Also back by popular demand is Mary Beth Franklin. She'll be joining us tomorrow to talk about how to maximize your Social Security benefit now. That'll be at 11 o'clock, so be sure to put that on your schedule. We also have 2 other sessions that I think you'd find interested from your own personal perspective. The first is the full picture reporting planning. This addresses your personal financial, the money part of retirement and having a plan in place. Those sessions are at 9:45, 1:30, and 2:45 today. Or the healthcare options in retirement. What are your healthcare options in retirement? At 1:30 and 2:45 today and 9:45 tomorrow. These are specifically geared to helping you with those complicated decisions. As a multiple employer plan, MERS creates economies of scale by pooling all of the assets together for investment purposes while maintaining separate accounts for each municipality. As our membership continues to grow, so do our operational efficiencies, and the savings are passed along to you, our members. In 2 words, what we strive for is superior value. In fact, over the past 5 years, the costs for administration and investments have decreased by 37% for the defined benefit plan and 36% for the defined contribution, 457, and healthcare savings programs. One of the things that we do annually at MERS is create a Voice of the Customer report, which integrates data from our systems, from industry trend reports, and from the annual surveys that you respond to. This information feeds our strategic planning process, our business planning, the outreach that we do to you, our educational efforts, and then the products that we produce and change to meet your needs. While overall satisfaction with MERS is at an all-time high, both for employers and for participants, there is still more to do. We've heard from you that there is still room for improvement in the intuitiveness of our processes and systems. What you're telling us is make them easier to use. We hear you. In addition, one theme we've heard is that customers would like to have more contribution stability and funding stability while continuing to provide an adequate benefit in retirement. Well-defined benefit and defined contribution plans have been demonstrated to be adequate and effective plan designs under the right circumstances. Both plans are at opposite ends of the risk distribution spectrum. MERS has initiated research into alternative pension plan designs with the objective of identifying a design that more proportionally shares the risk between the employer and the participant. I want to thank the City of Howell, the City of Port Huron, Clinton County, Lapeer County, and Saginaw County for their time and feedback as we evaluate these various plan designs. The Voice of the Customer report also highlights the importance of financial wellness efforts. We have learned that a participant's length of time to retirement plays a key factor in how they rate our communication and education. The closer you, the participant, is to retiring, the more you interact with us, and the more you are satisfied with the communication from MERS. So the challenge for us is to engage with the younger audiences with topics that are relevant for them. Later this afternoon, we'll be exploring more about financial wellness with our panel discussion at 12:30. We'll be joined by industry experts from the National Institute on Retirement Security and AARP for an insightful discussion into the state of retirement today. From millennials to those closing in on retirement, panelists will discuss where the savings gaps exist and how they may be addressed. We'll also dive deeper into our annual Voice of the Customer survey results and share ideas and how we're going to use this feedback to design impactful resources and educational opportunities. I want to briefly touch on two new things that we've rolled out at MERS. Based on your feedback, we're happy to announce that the MERS IRA is now available exclusively for current and former employees of MERS partnered municipalities and their spouses. You can get information about this new program right out that door. Just walk straight ahead and there's a table there that you can go to that will have more information. Going through the door and turning left, you're going to get information about the Mercer Marketplace 365 Healthcare Exchange. This is the partnership that we announced at last year's conference, and we are excited to provide you with additional information this year. You can find out about this at the booth around the corner with the banner, and at the Healthcare Options in Retirement session at 1:30, 2:45 today, and 9:45 tomorrow. If you're an employer and you're focused on developing a strategy to address your OPEB liability while providing retirees with options that are tailored to their needs, I encourage you to attend the Sustainable Approach to Retiree Healthcare session at 9:45 and 11 today and 9:45 tomorrow. Again, welcome to the MERS Annual Conference. I look forward to seeing everybody as we go from session to session today and also at the Bob tonight. And I hope you'll enjoy seeing the amazing art pieces as you walk over. I encourage you to fill out your session surveys or feel free to seek me out and let me know how we're doing. This conference is for you. Use your time to get your questions answered. Whether it's at the networking receptions or at meals, we're here to serve you. Thank you very much. Turn it back over to John for the results of the election.
Hello again. The results of the election are for the employer board member, Dale Feldposh was elected. For the employee board member, Jason Serrata was elected. So thank you to all the candidates and congratulations to Dale and Jason. Now Michael Brown will return.
Yeah. Thank you, John. Congratulations, Dale and Jason. Having received no resolutions prior to the annual conference, I declare the floor open for any type of discussion or questions the membership might have. Does anybody have any discussion or questions at this time? All right. Hearing none, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn the 72nd annual business meeting of the Municipal Employees Retirement System of Michigan. We have a motion by Ed Brown. Thank you, Ed. Somebody like to second that? And we have a second by Dan Parker from Berry County. Thank you, Dan. So we have a motion and second to adjourn the 72nd annual business meeting of the Municipal Employees Retirement System. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Is there anyone that's opposed? Thank you. We are adjourned. Please take a few moments to grab a cup of coffee out in the foyer or some water before heading to the first breakout sessions.